Our parents do the best that they can, and just like us, they were children once, raised by parents who also did the best that they could. Some people know that their parents did an awful job, even if it's the best that they could. Others say, I think my parents did a good job. Good is a pretty vague term, and in the experience of those with good parents, they've never actually been able to comprehend what excellent parents would have been like because good is all they know. It's like living in a small town your whole life and then moving to a city. It's only with the perspective that we can dissect the conditions of our upbringing. In Gabor Mate's When the Body Says No, he interviews patients with severe health complications at young ages. As he asks more questions, he learns that these same parents beat them as children. They were good parents because this person never had parents who didn't beat them to compare to. Similarly, we can think that we have good parents who didn't drink, yell, belittle, ignore us too much, and think that they're good, while people with excellent parents would see any of this behavior as extremely bad parenting. Each of our brains grows into adults under the life conditions that we're presented with. We learn to adapt and get our needs met, and we take pride in knowing that we've been able to get to right here, right now, today, which we should. However, we need to keep seeking perspective. With our good parents, we've all developed in a multitude of different flawed ways to preserve our sense of self, to guarantee that we feel loved and to have our needs met. Sonder, the realization that every human to have ever lived has a story as vivid and complex as your own. It's with this realization that we can put into perspective that we all know so little about what it means to live the human experience, as we all have only our own lives and our twisted upbringings to relate to. The experience of others, their parents, their experiences, their traumas, and their societal influences can only be understood through vulnerable conversation. On top of that, words are a relatively ineffective way to accurately share the human experience. We all have limited vocabularies, and we use the same words interchangeably in different ways. If you say that you've had trauma, it could mean emotional or physical, and it could mean something completely different to someone else. This is important for understanding empathy and maintaining healthy relationships and having patience, even for complete strangers. Without vulnerability and willingness to listen, there's no way that we can perceive the reason that drives another person's behavior. We would all feel more loved if the people around us had patience for our flaws and we had patience for theirs, knowing that they had a similarly challenging life in a number of different ways, and we're experiencing them in a moment of stress, triggered by who knows what. There's a chance that they don't even know either. Many people in our society have walls built up around themselves, and they don't want to listen to others because they assume that they have it all figured out. When the majority of the time, we're too stubborn or anxious to listen to the marginalized groups of people who are giving us the perspective that we so greatly need. It's scary and vulnerable to admit that we aren't perfect, that we don't have it all figured out, and that we are entitled living in an unfair society. But to create an equal world where everyone feels safe to be themselves, we need to embrace our vulnerability and be willing to listen and grow.